Today we are doing lesson 12.4, which is looking at similar triangles. Our I can statements, I can identify similar triangles, and I can use indirect measurement to find missing angle measures. So our key idea here, angles of similar triangles. When two angles in one triangle are congruent to two angles in another triangle, the third angles are also congruent and the triangles are similar. Similar means that they are the same shape but different sizes. So here is our similarity statement. It says triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. Now the order that you list the angles for that first one doesn't matter. They just did alphabetical order, ABC. But on the second one, the order tells you which angles are congruent. This little squiggly line means similar. A and D are the first letters, so that means angle A, 65, and angle D, 65, are the same amount of degrees, even if we can't see the picture. B and E are the middle ones, and that means they're going to be the same amount of degrees, 95, 95. And C and F are the last ones, 20, 20. So our order on the first one doesn't really matter, but our order on the second one, the similar the corresponding angles, the angles that match up with each other, those aren't going to be in the same order as the first one. Okay, so for the first type of problem, it says tell whether the triangles are similar and explain. So we can't just look at it and say, yeah, they look about the same shape, or, no, I don't really think they are. We need to be able to figure out, are all three angles going to be the same? All right, so let's take a look at this first one. I have 75 and 50 in X, and here I have 75, 50, and Y. And in that last one, I'm going to go back. If it says if two angles in one are congruent to two angles in another, then the triangles are similar. So are these two similar? Yes. They have two congruent angles. Actually, I'm going to be more specific here. They both have angles 75 degrees and 50 degrees. And if we did 180 minus these two, I would find out what X and Y would be, and they would be the same as well. This one didn't have any work to show. B does have work to show. There are a couple different ways we can do B. We know that they have one angle in common, 63 and 63, but we're not sure if they have another one in common. We have to figure it out. So let's go ahead and find this missing value. So I'm going to do X plus 54 plus 63 equals 180 because these three are in a triangle together. I'm going to add 54 and 63 together. 54 plus 63 gives me 117, so I have X plus 117 equals 180. And then I can subtract 117 from both sides. So 180 minus 117, that gives me 63. So that means this one is 63. We have two angles in common, 63, 63, 63, 63. If I did the math on this one, that would show me that last one is 54. So yes, both have two angles equaling 63 degrees. Two angles are in common, really all three will be, triangle will be similar. This one I did need a little work to support my answer. Now, I told you before that there are two ways to do it. So that's the first way. The second way is to look at your triangle and then say, okay, you know what? In order for these two to be the same, this one would have to be 63. Or in order for these two to be the same, this one would have to be 54. And then you can just add it up to see if they equal 180. And on this particular set, yes, they do. So 63, 63, 54 does make a triangle. That means that this one has to be 54, which means that they're similar. So that's another way to do it as well. All right, let's take a look at our last one. We know that they both have a right angle, and then we don't know if these two are common. So I'm going to use that second strategy on this one to solve it. So in order for them to have two angles in common, this 38 degrees would have to go in for x. I'm just going to write it this way, 38 question mark. Can that be 38 degrees? If so, they'll have two angles in common, a 38 and a right. And then they'll be similar. So I'm going to see if that works. I'm going to do 90 plus 38 plus 42. And then I want to see what it equals. If it equals 180, then I have similar triangles. So let's see, 38 plus 42 plus 90 gives me 170. So my answer here is no, they only have one angle in common. If I set up and solved an equation, I would find that this one would actually have to be 48 instead of 38. All right, go ahead and pause the video and try these two. Okay, let's check our answers. All right, number one, they've got 28 in common. This one has an 80 and a mystery number. This one has y and a 71. So I'm going to go ahead and just see if I put in 71 here. Will it make a triangle? Am I going to have two in common? 28 plus 80 plus 71. Let's see what that equals. So 28 plus 80 plus 71 is 179. No, they only have one angle in common. Okay, let's try this one. So for number two, I've got 66, I have 90, and then I have x. Here I have 90, 24, and y. In order for them to be similar, this 24, I'd have to be able to put in for x. That would give me two angles in common. So let's see if that works. 66 plus 24 plus 90. When I add those together, I get 180. So here I'm going to have yes, have two angles of 24 and 90. All right, let's look at our next type of problem. It says, you plan to cross a river and want to know how far it is to the other side. You take measurements on your side of the river and make the drawing shown. A, explain why triangle ABC and DEC are similar. B, what is the distance across the river? Okay, so for A, they already gave us our explanation, but we'll read through it and just talk about it. So it says angle B and angle E are right angles. So they're congruent. They were marked already in the picture as being right angles. ACB, which is this one, ACB, and DCE are vertical angles, so they're congruent. We don't know how many degrees they are, but we know because they're vertical, they're congruent. Because two angles in ABC are congruent to two angles in DEC, the third angles are also congruent, so the triangles are similar. So that's how we know these triangles are similar. Now we have to figure out this missing side. So if two triangles are similar, that means their side lengths are going to be proportional to each other. So we're going to write and solve a proportion using the information we have in our picture. So that's going to be part B. Write and solve a proportion to find x. I'm actually going to do my work for part B up here where I have a little more space. All right, so I need to see which sides match up with each other. The congruent statement, hold on, A, B, C, and D, E, C, that's going to be helpful because it tells me the angles that match up, and then that also means the sides are going to match up. So AB is this side. It's the first two letters, and that was 60. And on the other side is 50. So I'm choosing this first triangle to be my first fraction. AB on the top, and then BC on the bottom. And then over here, AB is the one that matches up with DE. They're the first two letters. First two letters here, first two letters here, they match up. And on this side, DE, that's our X. We don't know what it is. And then the side on the triangle we do know is 40. So 50 and 40 match up, and 60 and X match up. So now we have the information we need to solve our proportion. I don't see any easy multiplication patterns side to side or up and down, so let's go ahead and solve this one with cross products. 50 times X is 50X. 60 times 40 is going to be 2,400. And then we are going to divide both sides of our equation by 50. So 2,400 divided by 50, and that's going to give me 48. X equals 48, and then the label here is going to be feet. Let's look at our picture and see if that's reasonable. 48. Here, the side on the river was a little bit shorter than the side on the grass. Or than the other side. And see, look here, 40, the side on the river, is a little bit shorter than this other side, 48. So yeah, that does make sense. All right, 3 says, what if the distance from vertex A to vertex B is 55 feet? What is the distance across the river? Go ahead and pause the video and try this one on your own. Okay, let's check our answer. So we have the same situation, except instead of 60, it's now 55. So we're using the same proportion, except this number is going to be 55. So it'll be 55 over 50 this time. And then X over 40. Make sure that's right. Yep. Okay. I'm going to do cross products again. 50 times X is 50X. And then 55 times 40 is 2,200. Then we're going to divide both sides by 50. And we're going to get X equals 44 feet. All right, last one. Go ahead and pause the video and try this on your own. All right, let's check our answers. Are the two triangles similar, and explain? We've got 94 in common. In order to have another one in common, this X would have to be 38. So let's see if that works. 94 plus 48 plus 38. Let's see what we get. So when we add these three together, we get 180. So yes, because they both have angles of 94 and 38.